As global warming is increasing, we're beginning to gradually realize how it is impacting our world and our lives. One item that is largely being affected due to global warming is the beverage Americans all over the country are addicted to: coffee. In fact, coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world, behind oil. There are two main coffee bean varieties that dominate the worldwide market: Arabica and Robusta. At least 70% of the coffee grown and sold on the global market is Arabica. The Arabica bean coffee is richer and the most popular and is used in drip coffee and espresso machines around the world. The only problem is that it may go extinct in 66 years. According to Mauricio Galindo, head of operations at the London-based International Coffee Organization, Arabica plants require Goldilocks conditions in order to grow. The coffee crops have become very dependable on not just rainfall, but the timing of it. The temperamental plant needs heavy rainfall during the spring months, such as April and May, while they are in development of their flowering stage, and then dryness in August and September, so they have the time to harden and ripen. However, because of global warming, some of the coffee-growing countries have experienced heavy rains before the usual months, which then stunts the coffee crop's growth and disrupts the whole developmental process. The weather has been working in backward succession with the crop's crucial necessities, creating heavy downpours when aridity is necessary and droughts when water is essential. Researchers have linked these erratic forces of nature, such as too much rainfall followed by extreme dry spells, as direct consequences due to pollution. Because of global warming, the climate has become warmer too. The coffee beans are extremely sensitive to the climate change. As little as half a degree change in temperature can make a big difference. Not only that, but the increase in temperature also brought an increase in more resilient pests and plant diseases. The constant warm weather has expanded the habitat and the range of damage of a grazing predator of coffee plants, such as the coffee berry borer. The coffee berry borers are little beetles that have the ability to destroy an entire harvest of coffee beans. They tend to dig holes into the shell of the fruit and then stay and live inside the coffee cherries, which is the fruit that surrounds a coffee bean. Not only that, but the warm climate has also allowed the devastating fungus called coffee rust to thrive, whereas it was unable to survive the cool mountain weather before global warming increased. The increase in temperatures and rainfall due to climate change has allowed the fungus to live and prosper in the higher altitudes. The coffee rust first originated in Africa and Asia, and then spread to every coffee-growing region around the world, except for Australia and Hawaii. The fungus first turns a coffee plant's leaves a dark brown, which then causes the leaves to eventually fall off. An infected tree will have a lower coffee yield and may even die. Left unchecked, coffee rust has the potential to completely destroy a whole country's crop. In fact, in February of 2013, 70% of Guatemala's coffee plants were infected with the disease. The country's estimated 2013-2014 coffee haul could be reduced by more than 40%. Coffee-producing countries all over the world are experiencing the effects of global warming. These problems are hitting Central America, Brazil, Africa, and India the hardest. Between 2011 and 2012, Indian coffee production declined by nearly 30%. Costa Rica and Ethiopia, which are two of the top 10 coffee-producing nations, have also seen dramatic declines in their yields. Sadly, there isn't much we can do. So far, agricultural experts are working with coffee farmers to develop new and stronger plants that have the ability to combat the effects of global warming by utilization of their own resiliency. In Colombia, a company called Senecafe, which is considered the world's most advanced coffee research center, has been working to fight the ever-spreading coffee rust. For 12 years, Senecafe has been working on its first Arabica-like rust-resistant plant. However, to create a resistant Arabica plant, researchers are often required to cross it with a Robusta plant that is naturally rust-resistant. The only problem is that Robusta coffee beans don't taste as good and are very bitter. Even though it is the second most popular coffee bean in the world, it isn't used very much and is mostly in instant coffee mixes or drinks where the bitterness isn't so easily detected. While the new version of rust-resistant Arabica coffee plant has been invented, the problem is replacing the old with the new. So far, the Colombian government has spent $1.4 billion over the past 5 years trying to replace coffee plants with rust-resistant varieties. It costs farmers $1,200 per acre to replace existing coffee plants with the resistant strains. While Colombia is focusing on their coffee, they are unwilling to share the research and information with other countries who cannot afford to do their own. This makes sense, since Colombia will be able to sell more coffee to the Americas if the other countries are unable to produce much coffee beans. However, there are international organizations that are willing to help all coffee-producing countries. For the first time, one international organization is looking at DNA sequencing of coffee plants, trying to improve the species' genetic diversity to better withstand disease and varying climate changes due to global warming. Their goal is to eventually create coffee plants that can withstand temperature increase of up to 6 degrees Fahrenheit, while maintaining or increasing the quality and yield. However, until then, people all over the world are feeling the consequences of our ever-growing global warming problem. According to researchers, the slowly decreasing Arabica coffee beans could go extinct in 2080. While the extinction of the bean may be far away, we already have begun to feel the results of the decreasing quantity of beans today. It seems like Starbucks prices are increasing a little bit every few months. And between 2010 and 2011, brands such as Folgers has increased their retail prices of mini grinds by 25% or more. Our world drinks 1.6 billion cups of coffee each day. Soon, consumers who purchase a cup of coffee each morning or order fancy espresso beverages will see an even bigger dent in their pockets as prices increase. But if prices for consumers don't increase, then coffee bean farmers will go out of business due to the increase in costs of fertilizers and fungicides, and less coffee will in turn be produced. Though farmers and consumers aren't the only ones who will be affected. Countries, workers, and companies will feel the burn too. Each year, more than $15 billion worth of coffee is exported from 52 different countries. Without the product exporting, the coffee-growing countries will be out a large sum of money. Workers will also be hurt. The coffee industry employs some 26 million people worldwide. Slowly, more and more people are being unemployed as there are less and less coffee plants that need to be taken care of. And lastly, companies that mainly focus on coffee, such as Starbucks, will be impacted. With a shortage of coffee beans comes an increase in price. As a worker for Starbucks, I have seen the prices for drinks slowly increase, and so have the customers. While it makes them angry, they keep returning because most of them have become addicted to the caffeine that comes with the taste. But the problem is that Starbucks only buys Arabica coffee beans and annually buys more than 500 million pounds of green or unroasted beans, which is about 3% of the world's supply, for more than 300,000 growers all over the world. So, as the supply of the Arabica beans go down, the prices are slowly going up. And if and when the Arabica beans become extinct, what will the 80% of Americans who consume it turn to for energy to keep them going throughout their day? Perhaps tea. But it turns out tea plants are also being affected by global warming, and the supply is also decreasing. Maybe this will be a wake-up call for coffee lovers to start living a more eco-friendly life.